Beep, 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 beep. Morning all. I say morning. It's 5 a.m. here. 5 a.m. and all is well. Do you know there used to be a woman years ago in London, on the streets of London and various other cities and other places, and then every neighbourhood would have one, and she had a pea shooter, and she was paid a penny or whatever it was they were paid in those days to go around and shoot peas at people's windows to wake them up. Simpler times, weren't they? Simpler times. I was sitting here mulling, like one does, thinking, simpler times? Yes, we could wish for simpler times. A friend of me messaged me last night, a friend of mine, who was talking about something generally and just said he'd been looking at some historical stuff and sort of, catching up with sort of past culture. And he said, is it me or was the world a better place then? That set me off. Is it me, he said, or is the world a better place back then? He's only a young man in his, early 30s, I think. We'd be upset if he's not. His early 30s. And he said, that's what he said, yeah. He says, is the world a better place? Years ago, or is that just rose-tinted glasses? Well, if it was before you were born, it can be rose-tinted glasses, I suppose. But once you're cognizant, you should be able to remember it, shouldn't you? The world, it was a simpler place. Or was it simpler? It was certainly simpler, but was it better? That's the question. So I've been having a moan, thinking about the things that have unfolded over the last few days. Now, I don't know if you've seen it yet, but if you haven't, you should, is the thread underneath a grinning, homophobic, not Kylie Minogue, her sister, what's she called? Danny, in it. Danny Minogue, right? There's a thread of Danny Minogue. You'll find it if you go and have a look on Twitter. Underneath it was on the BBC. There she is grinning at the camera going, oh, yes, we're going to have some fun on our Trans the Gay Away programme. And then everybody's responded underneath. It's an epic thread. Epic. It's got she's got millions of views on it and 26 likes. I was like, right, there's a ratio. Because that's disgusting homophobia on every level. I mean, you don't have to be an idiot to understand that, do you? That's disgusting homophobia. Let's get, purported gay men on. And then there was another picture doing the rounds, which I can't find now, unfortunately, of a bloke grinning like a twat with a shirt on. He's like this. Like an absolute idiot. Grinning with the words queer joy underneath it. It's like, right, okay. That's what that means, okay. So that's going on. I'm just thinking, in response to, was it a better world back then? And then we had Rupert Lowe and some Sharia supporting MP, if that's what he is. I apologise if he's not, but essentially he's a censorship supporter. Doesn't like the idea that people have burnt his book, right? Not his book personally, but the Quran. There's somebody burnt it, and there's somebody being charged for that, by the way. What's that about? Okay? You should be able to burn any book you own, no matter what the book is. Should we organise a National Book Burning Day? No, that's probably not a good idea. Did we try that before sometime? It's not a good idea, right? Okay. Now I've got the music from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade in me. Dum da dum da dum da dum da dum da dum da da, when they're all going down the road throwing the books on the burning pyre. So Rupert had an argument with him. So we've got the police arrested someone for doing that, burning the Quran, and then they put together a charge, which was a charge of offending Islam. That should worry the hell out of us all. Because next it's offending trannies. That's what it'll be. Offending Islam. They put people together in groups and then you can get done for offending a group of people. Hello. We've done that before as well, haven't we? Didn't work out well. Have you ever seen a situation? The Socialists were out in force yesterday as well, shouting about nonsense. Right, okay? Don't burn books. It's blasphemous. This is the Socialists. Have you ever seen a situation in your life where what we would perceive to be the hard right of Islam, the Islamists, are coming together with the Socialists? Gosh. In their thinking, you'd never have thought that. Is it a better world back then? We're certainly more luxuriously off, aren't we? Look at this. This is what we're doing now. We're more luxurious. We couldn't do this years ago. Can you imagine doing what I do for a living, which is basically producing videos and screaming at you? Doing that by carrier pigeon? Wouldn't that, would it? When did you last hear from him? A month ago, but it was very good. Can you imagine? Edijester by carrier pigeon. So, that came up, right? The other thing is that the Labour government has just given millions and millions of pounds. I think it's about 70 million for Ofcom to censor the internet. There we go. We're going to censor the internet. Why are you censoring the internet? We're going to save the children. Okay, all right. How many times has that excuse been used? Who's it for? It's because of the children. Right, okay. Which ones? The trans ones? It's all the bloody same. It's all the same. Censorship, control, power. It's all the same. It's absolutely insane. But that's what we're seeing. What's that about then? Hey, what's that about? Censorship and control. It's always the same kind of thing. It's almost like we got, a maiden aunt in the back of the sort of cultural car of the UK going, not that, no, you can't do that, don't go that way, no, you can't have that either. And then I upset everybody because I said there is a type of woman we need to deal with. Oh, right, okay. See, I know the type of men we need to deal with. Most men know the type of men we need to deal with. The men that are happy to commit violence against women and girls. They're the ones that the men need to deal with. Yep, the powerful police and the state need to deal with these men, but they're not doing it effectively. Not yet. But we can work on that. Yep, so that we can deal with these violent men who are violent against women and girls, abusive, violent men. And then I got to mulling about, well, what about women? Because people say, well, women aren't like that. They're not. They're not. They're not like it. Men have more psychopaths and more geniuses. That's trade-off. You do the bell curve. Psychos, geniuses. Both ends of that bell curve are wider apart for men than they are for women. And you get to think to yourself, what about these women? What about these horrible women? What about these horrible women pushing gender ideology, which is homophobic and misogynist? I mean, they're actually committing sort of nastiness, if you want to call it that, against women and men. What are they? What is it? So how do women do violence? Because they don't actually do violence very much. Women don't do this kind of horrendous violence that men do. You get outliers, like with everything, but they don't do violence generally because a lot of them are petite, tiny creatures, especially if you've seen a picture of Stephanie Whittle, who's so tiny, and Robin Moira White, who's just this sort of like gargantuan thing in a dress. It's like going into some surreal shopping centre, and all the models are big size. There's Robin Moira White. So how do they do it? How do we deal with them? Reputation destruction, by the way. If you were thinking, you wondered yourself, how do women do it? Reputation destruction. That's what they do. There was a case of this. I saw this yesterday as well. There's some LARPing female, pretending to be a gay man, and she managed to get herself into the locker room with the boys. And the boys were talking about her, going, what's she doing in here? LARPing woman pretending to be a bloke. So she recorded them. Now they've all been suspended. That's how women do violence. Not violence, but that's how women deal with their instincts, which are the same instincts as men who commit violence. That's what they do, reputation destruction. What do you want to do about them? It's all so confused, I've no idea. Was it a better world back then? No. It was a much tougher world back then. It really was. Much tougher. Look at the luxury we live in now. Much tougher. And the fact that humans are still hurting each other, physically in the case of men, or with social destruction and reputation destruction in the case of women, is exactly the same as it's always been. Because the only constant is human nature. That's me mull done for today. I'll see you later. Go and have some fun. It's Saturday. Do something. Bye-bye.